Welcome to the Pickleball Addiction podcast. Today I'm pleased to invite Rhodri Oliver. Rhodri has been around pickleball for a while and started a pickleball club in London 18 months ago that already has over 100 players. Rhodri was also a member of the winning Pickleball Addiction MLP Style team at the English Nationals and was instrumental in getting the team over the line and earning him the MVP for the competition. Welcome, Rhodri.
Hello, Mark.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
It's good. It's nice to speak to you after this time. I mean, I think, the last time I saw you was at the Nationals. I think we've spoken since, so it's good to speak to you.
Yes, no, and I still remember our glorious victory on that Thursday. That will remain in my heart forever.
It was a good day, and we'll come to that. It'll be good to have a little bit of a chat about that and get your perspective. But in short, apart from that introduction that I've just given you, for people that haven't spoken to you before, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I live in West London, in Acton. As you mentioned, I set up a pickleball club a little while ago, which has grown from nothing to a bit over 100 players, and we enjoy playing on a Friday, a Sunday and a Monday. Always looking for new courts or slots, because it's difficult to find places that let you book out enough space for people to play. But we're a keen bunch, enjoy our pickleball. And then in my spare time, I have my full-time job as a tax consultant. So yeah, do that as well. But obviously, pickleball has become a real love of mine. So.
Great. So when did you actually start playing pickleball?
About 2 years ago. Well, probably slightly more now. Maybe 2.5 years ago. Discovered it in Cromer, North Norfolk, where my mother introduced it to me.
Okay. And then I assume you then started attending a club in London, local to where you are, after that?
Well, yeah, I think as quite a few players have found, I went back home and then looked for where I could play, and there wasn't really anywhere nearby. And then I had the crazy idea, I thought, if I can't go somewhere to play, I'll make somewhere to play and they can come to me. And didn't realise that was going to become a significant portion of my life. So there we are. But it's worked. I play a lot of pickleball, so.
Right. Okay. So you didn't even really start going to a club regularly in London. You just decided.
No, I do now go to Louise Stevens in New Malden occasionally, but even that's sort of half an hour to 45 minutes, depending on the traffic. So the benefits of setting up your club is you can choose somewhere proximate to you. So it's a 5-minute drive to my club, which is much more preferable.
I know, that is very good. I mean, I'm lucky. My local one's 10 minutes away, so I kind of got away with it. So, but yes, I don't have to go through the pains of starting my own club to get to play. But okay, well, tell us a little bit more about the club you started in London. So it's in Acton, is that itself as well?
That's right, yes. So it's by Acton Town Tube Station, for those who are familiar with the Piccadilly and the District Line. It's at a school just opposite. It's literally 2 minutes walk from that station, at a dual-use sports centre at Acton High School. And we now also hire the sports hall at Twyford School, which is just down the road from there, so probably another 10 minutes walk, which is where we do our Monday nights, because there aren't spaces at the most local club. So yes, no, I kind of jumped in with both feet. So I bought myself 4 nets and 32 paddles and lots of balls, and then hired 4 courts for 4 hours on a Sunday. And then obviously there was actually no one who wanted to play at that stage because no one knew it existed. So my first few sessions were pretty heavily loss-making, having thrown away my life savings on pickleball equipment and pickleball hire. So I think I had 4 people on my first one. I think it dipped as low as 3, and that was my nadir. And then from there it has very slowly built up, and then as pickleballs become more popular as well, it's sort of gone quite quickly. So we get quite a lot of new player inquiries. We're probably at the stage where we need another night a week to cater for everyone. But as you get people go on holiday or get injured or move away, so we're at a nice balance at the moment.
Yeah. So, how many courts are at the the locations you play at then now?
Both have 4.
Both have 4. Okay.
Yeah, 4 wooden badminton courts.
Yes, lovely wooden badminton courts that we love. Okay. All right, and we mentioned before before starting to record that you say you don't have a membership for your club. Is that no membership at all? No annual membership? No, just court hire, is it?
No membership. So people can come along and play whenever they like. They just have to sign up on the app to make sure I know they're coming. So I suppose that's the only real. I have a couple of people who get special treatment because one chap doesn't have a mobile phone or a computer, so he gets an alternative booking system. But most people have to sign up onto the app and just say they want to come and then pop along. And I know most of my members pretty well now or not members because there's no membership, but you know what I mean. Most of the people who come along I know pretty well, and we've got a good tight group, and we're always getting some new people and bring them in. We go for drinks afterwards and hang out, and we did a 50th birthday party for one of our players yesterday who turned 50 and came along to celebrate it by playing pickleball for 4 hours.
Of course.
So we're like we're like a gang more than a club. We just
gang.
Rock up and play pickleball, and then the Acton pickleball gang, and then we go get drinks or hang out, and it's good. But no annual membership fee, no sort of structure like that. It's a benign dictatorship under my rule. And I've got 3 other people who've qualified as coaches now, so we take it in turns to run sessions, and we do deliver a little bit of coaching just for people who want to learn a bit, but most of it's either competitive ladder play or social play.
Okay, we'll dig into that a little bit in a little while. The other question I have for you is, so you have 100 people. I guess they're not all turning up, or over 100 people. They're not all turning up at the same time. But how many people do you generally have sort of turning up for a session, and how do you manage making sure that everyone gets a good amount of time on the court?
So for 4 courts, we limit it to 24 people, and that is the maximum. And it works. I have a rather unique manual court allocation system, whereby I simply decide who's going to play next and with whom and against whom, and try and match people up based on what I think is going to be an exciting match, or give them someone new to play with, which no system is perfect, but generally it's well received. Occasionally I get the odd nudge that I might have paired someone with the same person twice, but it's hard in the heat of the moment as you're writing down 24 names within 10 minutes and working out the new permutation, but it works. But 24 is definitely the maximum I'd recommend, because at that stage you've got 2 games on, 1 game off, so it becomes much better for people, obviously not for me, but much better for people if only 20 people come, then you're only off for 1 in 5 games rather than 1 in 3. So the numbers improve a lot as you get close to 16 people. For Mondays we do what we call the ladder. So that's when I allocate 4 people per court, and you play 3 matches, 1 with each person, best of 3 games up to 11. So that's meant to be more akin to like tournament practice. So you're learning to play to a number, and because it's best of 3, you also have that bit of mentalness where if you've lost your first game, you get a chance to reset and try and change your tactics to get back in it. So that's quite good for a bit of tournament practice. That's relatively new.
So for those, before you go on, so for those who don't understand like a ladder and how that works and what it is, can you explain that? Hi, Mark Mars here. I hope you're enjoying the show. This podcast is sponsored in part by the Pickleball Addiction store and newsletter. To support the show, please check out the Pickleball Addiction store at pickleballaddiction.co, where we stock a wide range of paddles, balls, nets and other accessories. Use coupon code POD10, that's POD10, to get 10% off your first purchase. You can also check out the Pickleball Addiction newsletter at pickleballaddiction.news, where we cover the latest news in pickleball from the UK and around the world. Thanks for your support, and now back to the show.
Yeah, so broadly speaking, you, Mark, have asked to play ladder today, actually, because it's Monday. We've got ladder today.
Great.
And I don't know how you'd play, so I would stick you on the bottom court, court 4 to start with, and you would play against 3 other players. You'd play with each of those 3 players. And then depending on your results in each game, I would allocate you points. So it goes wins, game difference, points difference. And if you happen to be a superstar and win your 3 games, you would obviously have won your box. And then next week, when you asked to play the ladder, assuming there was space to let you in, because heavily oversubscribed, then you would go up a court to court 3 and play some people who are more experienced and then repeat the process. So I did have one chap who joined the ladder, hadn't seen him play before, put him on court 4, and he won court 4, then he won court 3, then he won court 2, and today is his debut on court 1. So
Wow.
we'll see how that goes for him. So yeah, but that's how I do it. And if I've seen you play, then I'll try and put you on a court that I think is going to give good games for everyone. But sometimes I haven't really seen them play much, so it's hard to judge straight away. And then I let the jungle laws apply and see how it goes.
Okay. That sounds great. I mean, that's just 'cause it adds an extra dimension to like coming out for a club night, doesn't it? And gives you a bit of something to work to and aspire for. So yeah, I really like the idea of a ladder. We don't do that at our club, but I'd like to. That'd be really good, and kind of helps ensure more competitive games a little bit, right?
Yeah. Downsides are you have to make sure your people turn up. Which, to be fair, I've only had one session so far where I lost a person to unexpected circumstances, and because I take the session I played in as the 4th player. But if you lost more than one person, then you're going to have a whole court that can't play, which is a disaster. So it's a bit risky, but as long as you make sure that people are really aware that it needs to be a very serious situation to prevent them from getting to you, then it's.
Yeah, I didn't think. I didn't think about that. So yeah, it's the same people each. So is that still 24 people, or is that?
No, 16. So
16.
that's
just
the problem.
the straight 16.
You only got 4 per court. So if someone drops out, then a whole court's duffed over because they can't play their doubles matches. So
Okay.
So yes, that's the downside. You can't, people are a bit flaky sometimes on social play, and that doesn't matter so much because you've always got more than 16 anyway, so it doesn't stop a court operating. But for ladder, you can't afford any flaky people. They need to turn up and play.
I assume you're going to be, you'll be playing as well. So is it you just do all this at the start of the session and work out like a whole bunch of games so that people can kind of just work their way through them, or are you just doing it? I mean, because presumably if somebody's waiting for a game next and you're on court, how's that going to work?
No, it's basically a full-time job during the course of the session. So if I've got 24 people, it's very unlikely I'll play.
Right.
I might play the last game because then I don't have to work out the next set of permutations because that's it. We're finished. If it's fewer than 24, sometimes I can get away with ad-libbing a game. So I put myself on and I get a game, and then I broadly know what I'm going to do in the next one, so I can ad-lib it at the end of the round. But no, the big disadvantage for me, I suppose, is that I don't play very much under this system because I spend my whole time working out who's going to be playing next. That being said, though, I do enjoy watching all of my players play. So it swings and roundabouts. I don't get to play as much as I'd like, but I also, the reason I can do the system is because I've watched everyone play and get a feeling for how the different players play against each other and the styles and so on, and hopefully that helps inform future permutations.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. So you run socials, you run ladder. Do you have any other kind of permutations of what you do? Do you run any leagues or other competitions as well?
The only other thing we do is coaching. So we have a 2-hour coaching session on a Sunday for 8 people or up to 8 people.
Okay.
I do very occasionally run a box league, that tried and tested format that pops up every now and again. So 6 people on a court, you're playing 15 matches overall. 10. You're playing 10 of a total of 15 matches overall.
Yeah.
Haven't run one of those for a little while, but probably do another one in January or February.
Okay, sounds good. So what have you found most rewarding about starting a club?
Well, if any of the people who are in my club are watching this ever, they'll know I'm not actually a very social person, and I wasn't expecting to spend lots of time hanging out with people. But running my little club has meant that I've spent a lot more time socializing with people than I previously would have done. So that's been quite nice. I couldn't have dreamed that I'd have been like organizing a Christmas party or an anniversary party we did, and obviously we did Kyle's birthday party yesterday, and we go for drinks most times, and it's been really good and fun and made friends. So that's been the best thing about it is, we're an eclectic group of people, but we all go get a drink and hang out, and got our WhatsApp group, and there's lots of good banter, and it's a good bunch of people. So that's kind of the thing I've enjoyed most. The second most enjoyable thing has been, we were pretty rubbish to start with, if I'm honest. No one was very good, including me. And seeing the standard improve has been really nice. We're not a super duper club yet, but we can turn out a team that can get places, and we've got better depth, and people are getting better across the board on all their skills, and that's really satisfying to, there's nothing like watching a good pickleball point and cheering from the sidelines, and there's a lot more cheering now than there was 6 months ago, because the standard is getting better. So
yeah, it's great. I love the way you're talking about it. It sounds like almost, family's wrong, but your gang, that you actually care about, like how they're doing. Often with sports clubs, there's someone running it, but everyone's individuals and they're free to do what they want, and they, of course, under your dictatorship, they're free to do what they want. But it sounds to me like you actually you're trying to raise the level for everybody within the club a little bit. It sounds like people want that. You managed to do some social stuff as well, so it feels much more like it sounds like, hey, I want to join. It sounds like a nice gang.
Yeah, no, it's good. I thoroughly recommend it. No membership fee.
Yeah, that's good. That is good. And yeah, okay. But it sounds. Yeah, I like what you're doing. It sounds really good. So, what's been the most challenging thing about starting the club?
I suppose two things. One, getting people to play pickleball. And I don't want to sound like a pickleball snob, because I'm one of those people who doesn't play proper pickleball. Sometimes I'm as guilty as the rest of those tennis players that come in. But it's sometimes frustrating trying to get, because our club is a group of people who haven't played a lot of competitive pickleball, and so they haven't had that bruising experience that I got early on, where you go and you think, if I just whack everything really, really hard, then I'm going to win. And it doesn't work like that. And there are a lot of nuances and subtleties to the game that you don't appreciate when you first join. It's just trying to encourage. We're still a club of predominantly bangers. We are improving our thinking. We are. But in the heat of the moment, and people will know who they are, in the heat of the moment, when you've got that choice between another dink or going for the passing shot, our club is 90% going to go for that passing shot. And so trying to build that dimension to the game is hard, because if you don't have people who already do it, it's hard to see why you would do it yourself. And so, we're trying to organise friendly matches. We played against the Cambridge Pickleball Club and got trashed. Actually, they gave us a good hiding, partly because they had this extra dimension to their game that a lot of us don't have yet. So that's a bit frustrating. And then the only other thing is, you always have the odd person who doesn't get on with another person and just trying to add that into my permutation matrix is just another level. But I mean, people, like, if you throw a bunch of people together, you always have some personality clashes, and we have an astonishingly low number considering the number of people there are who regularly play. So I'm quite impressed, and people do get on very well.
Yeah.
So,
well, everyone's coming together for the same interest, I guess, which probably helps.
Yeah.
So that leads me on to a question, and we'll talk a bit more about the MLP later. But from what you've just said, then, did you find that playing in the MLP style tournament made you more disciplined than you ordinarily are about playing, proper pickleball?
So I like to think that in tournaments I try to be disciplined when I play. I am probably to the banger side of the spectrum still in terms of my style, and I do like to have a go if I can.
Yeah.
So, but in tournaments, I do try to be disciplined and not let that get the better of me. If I'm playing it, my worst tendencies come out in social play when it's a bit of fun and you feel like going for that outlandishly 1 in 100 shot just because it doesn't matter if you miss it, and that's probably where I really show my true colours in terms of a lack of discipline. So
yeah. I think most of us are a bit like that. I guess when you're getting up to the pro level, then you're probably going to stop doing that so much. But I think everyone's got that in them, right? Everyone wants to go for that dream shot.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your coaching sessions then, and how you structure those, and how people get kind of invited onto that. And I assume that you can just turn up, but there's problem with coaching and stuff. There's going to be limited spaces, but then also, how do you structure kind of the sessions in terms of drilling, and is it a long-term view on, improving people's game? Tell us about that.
So it's a little tricky because it is a free-for-all. So sometimes I've got a mix of people who've been to quite a few sessions, and then some who are either new and haven't been to many, or some people just want to have 2 or 3 sessions and then they want to play social play. They just want to get up to a standard where they think they can play socially. So I tend to structure it differently depending on who's attending, and if there's a predominance of people who've been to previous sessions, then I'll obviously try and cover something new. So yesterday was a good example. I actually split it between, we drilled serving and third shot drops, always drilling some sort of dink or drop. Not that it tends to follow through into the social play. Thank you, guys. But yeah, we're always very good at our dinking and third shot dropping just before we start our matches, and then it goes out the window. But then we did about an hour on tactics. So I introduced people to stacking and switching, and how you might target a particular player, and what you might do if your partner's being targeted. So we spent a bit of time doing that. And that was good fun to watch. A lot of failed switches, moving too early, moving too late, not noticing that your partner's going to switch, and both being on the same side. But it's I think it's really important that people try to use those tactics if they can, because it builds your camaraderie with your partner, and secondly, I mean, it's a lot of fun when it works, right? If you pull off a switch correctly and take them by surprise, there's nothing really more satisfying in the world than that. So we had quite a lot of fun doing that yesterday.
Awesome. That sounds great. So that was the main tactic, was it, in terms of if your weaker partner's being targeted? Talking about that, or did you go further into that?
It was weaker partner, targeting the weaker player, and on one of the permutations it was targeting the backhand. But I gave bespoke tactics to each pair. So depending on who they were playing, I told them what I thought I would do if I were playing. So I had one pair that was trying to draw the other pair into a short game because the other pair liked hitting it hard. That hard-hitting pair, I told them to focus on the dinking pair's backhands because they tended to pop it up. and then the other pair, it was two pairs where targeting the weaker player was probably the call. So it was then them trying to work out how to switch and change it up to stop the other pair from targeting their weaker player, and also not trying to. So I sometimes think, particularly if you're a tennis player, you think it's a failing to be the weaker player, or it's a bad place to be, or you're not going to get many shots. But as anyone who's been the weaker player, and I had that experience on that Thursday. If anyone's had the experience of being the weaker player on the court, you know you've got a job to do. You've got a job in your little chunk of court, and you'll get lots of balls, I promise you, because the other side don't want to hit it to the other player. So don't worry about not seeing enough of a ball. You'll see plenty of it. So just trying to get people to realise that actually it's simply just a different role. It's not like you're less important. You're just playing a different instrument on the court.
Yeah, I like that about pickleball, that challenge where it's not that everyone's the same skill, and you know it adds an extra dimension. And I actually quite like the fact that if you're the stronger player, that you've got to try and get yourself into the game, like, because they're constantly hitting it at the weaker player, and that's a challenge in itself. And sometimes it can be incredibly frustrating to like be that player that's the stronger player and never get to see the ball. But that's up to you to then try and make that happen. And I like that. And then being the weaker player, like you say, you're playing the role of support in a way, and letting that other person do their thing. I like that as an aspect of the game, to be honest.
Yeah. And also, I mean, it's a fact of matches, so you have to get used to it, because it's not going to change.
No,
and if you don't adapt to the situation, then you will put your team at a disadvantage. Yeah.
I mean, something that's quite interesting. I was speaking to Brian Lim. He runs a podcast called Building Pickleball. So he will be the episode before you. So if anybody's listening to this episode and wants to go back and listen to that, then you can. It's not out just yet. So I know you're an avid listener of the podcast, Rhodri, so you would have heard it if it was out. But
of course, several times.
But Brian, he runs his YouTube channel and a podcast. He's based out of the US. He started it about a year ago. But he used to do MMA fighting, like before that, and martial arts, taekwondo, I think it was. And he was talking about, taking some of the learnings from coaching in that into pickleball, which is not going and fighting your opponent, but it's about the fact that doing repeated tasks in a controlled environment is not necessarily the most optimal way, because you never get that. When you're just feeding people the ball, that's not the same as being in real life competition. Okay, you get to practice the mechanics maybe of a shot, but it's not real life. And he was talking about, I can't remember what he called it now, but he's looking to kind of have a different kind of methodology for coaching, in terms of it's more creative of those real life environments. And that doesn't mean just playing rec play all the time and playing games all the time. There is still structure to it, but it's actually kind of trying to make it more like in real gameplay than just having the ball fed to you by a ball machine or something, the same place over and over again. Yeah, so it should be interesting to see what he comes up with on that, because I can totally get it. Like, and you probably have this with your guys, like you say, everyone's great at doing the third shot drops in the drilling, right? Because it's just like everyone's just like, here you go, and it's just the same shot over and over again. Well, when someone then smashes it at you, on their second shot, and it's maybe you're reaching for or whatever, and then trying to do it's not the same as what you've just been practicing. So it's a bit different.
No, I completely agree with that. I do think at a improver and beginner level, repetition is the key to building a strong foundation on your shots. But I agree that you can only go so far playing in a controlled environment. But yes, I do think you need to hit that ball like 1,000 times. I always forget when I have a beginner and I'm like, well, there you go. shown you how to do it and you've done it like twice, so you should be able to just repeat that ad nauseum. And you think, well, actually, you know, I've seen thousands of pickleball shots come at me by now, so there's a, you know, what's it the Russians say? There's a quality to quantity, and I think that applies to pickleball as well. You know, if you've hit 5,000 shots, you are more likely to be able to hit 5,001st than if you've hit 50 shots. So
yeah. You know, I mean, I think it's not to say that it's not value in just drilling that kind of stuff, but it's kind of interesting that he had a different take on it. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know if that feeds into tennis or whatever. Like, I assume tennis players do similar kind of drills, which are repeating the same stuff over and over again. So I don't know. Well, I'm interested to see what he comes up with.
I think in US coaching, they aim to have their players hit 300 shots in an hour.
Okay.
That's the mark of having done enough play in a coaching session. I think in the UK we probably don't get very close to that in terms of number of shots people play in an hour. So I don't know. It's horses for courses.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting to hear, like, how you promote the club, if you do, in any particular way. How do new people find you?
I don't really promote the club. It's kind of word of mouth. I'm an evangelist when I meet anyone, so you'll know I play pickleball if I meet you, and I'll tell you about my club. But no, I don't do anything, you know, structured in terms of trying to promote it. I kind of find that I get the right sort of person turn up when they've come from one of the people I already know who plays. So we've had a few new people come along because they've played or they're a neighbour of one of the people who plays, or so it's nice, and that helps with the sort of social side because there's already a bond there, and so people, you know, fit in more quickly and don't feel awkward about coming to drinks afterwards and so on. So I think it's nice like that.
Yeah. So that begs the question: how did you get the first few people to come? Were they people you knew?
Well, I'm a member of my local tennis club, so I basically press ganged a few of them into coming along. Most of whom didn't survive the process, the transformation. They went back to playing tennis. But a couple stuck, and one of them, who will remain nameless because she wouldn't want me to name her on this, but she was, well, she still is a member of a tennis club, but she has become much more focused on her pickleball, and she was one of the first people, probably session 3 or session 4 of my club, and she's been there ever since, and she's probably the longest standing member, if you know, in that loose way I use that term. So that was how I got the first couple, and then I just kept going. I put it on the Pickleball England website, through Gary Mitchell, and I think a few people found it through there as well, and contacted me, and then it just sort of went from there, really.
So you still playing tennis?
I do still play some tennis, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
In fact, I've got to play tennis this afternoon.
Oh, well, there you go. Excellent. Okay, so you still have kind of a happy mix of tennis and pickleball then, do you, generally?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely like 75% pickleball.
Okay.
Used to be 100% tennis. Now it's 75% pickleball, so that's how my life changed.
Okay, all right, great. And so I guess another question I have for you is then, well, I guess not because it's word of mouth, but now, are you doing anything to try and attract like younger players, more youth players to the club? Do you have any?
No.
I mean, do you have any younger players generally? Like, what sort of the age?
Yes, yeah, we do. We've got a really good mix of ages, actually. I think our oldest player is 81, and our youngest player is 11.
Okay.
And we've got everything in between. We've got probably a concentration of players in their sort of early 40s, late 30s. But we have a mix all the way through. We've got some in their 20s, early 30s. I'm early 30s, 40s. Obviously, Carl turned 50, so got some in their 50s, at least one in their 50s. Some even older than that, 60s. Don't know if anyone in their 70s. I don't think. I think we go from 60s to 80s. I mean, we have a really diverse mix of players, and it's a good balance of men and women as well. So yes, I haven't done anything particular to try and do that. I'm happy for whoever wants to come and play to play. But yes, yeah. So I don't do anything specific. We just sort of have a happy coincidence of a broad range of players.
Yeah. So if someone was thinking of starting a club themselves, maybe because they want one that's local to home, like yourself, but what would you say to them? What's the couple of kind of recommendations that kind of pop to mind as a learning from yourself?
Well, the first thing I'd say is just be prepared for it to take up a lot more time than you initially expect.
Yeah.
Because it does. And also, if there's only one of you, I would consider getting more than one of you before you start. Okay. Just because, and one of the reasons we've got our other 3 qualified coaches now is because I was finding once I'd started doing Fridays and Sundays, and now Mondays, actually if I do every session, I never get a holiday, ever. And also, if I do take a holiday and then I cancel the sessions, then everyone's quite sad because they wanted to play pickleball and I'm kind of a single point of failure. So I definitely recommend, if you can find a couple of like-minded people to help, then it makes a big difference, because you don't feel bad about going away at the weekend or something, which I don't think, apart from to go and play pickleball tournaments, I don't think I've gone away for a weekend for a long time, as my wife will attest. But next year that will change a bit, because with all our different coaches now, we're going to take it in turns to take different sessions, and then we can all have a break. So yes, that would be my first recommendation, is see if you can't find a like-minded friend. Clearly, if you can't, I'm not saying don't set up your club. I did 18 months of... No, that's 18 months is how long I've been going. I did about a year of it without any significant help, and I've loved it, and it's been great, and I've loved watching it grow. And you just say, this week we're not going to be running pickleball because I'm away, and that's just how it is. I
guess you can just recruit some of those early members,
recruit a few early members, and start small. Don't do what I did and book out 4 courts at the cost of £192 a week when you've only got 3 players, because you'll find that it's quite expensive to maintain that booking over a long period of time if you don't have enough players coming to break even, which was the case for me for probably 6 months. I didn't have enough players to break even. I ploughed a good chunk of my money into subsidising play at the club. And I could have been better, organised that more smartly, so that it didn't need to be quite such a painfully financially adverse experience. It's a labour of love. So those things: more time, more people, less money spent, are the 3 recommendations I'd have.
Mm-hmm. Okay, sounds good. All right, so let's talk about the MLP Style Event at the Nationals then for a minute, just to set the scene for people that have not heard about it or did not go. On the Thursday of the English Nationals up in Bolton, there was an MLP Style Event in which we had team-based competition. There was a drafting exercise about a week before the actual competition itself, in which players had put themselves forward to be part of the event, and there was a draft for the teams to pick their players. So I was the team manager and I drafted the players, and Rhodri was the first player drafted in that draft. But then, it's all range of players. Well, I say all range of players, generally higher level players, but the top players were playing in there as well. Thadia and Louis and Freddie and all of those kind of people. So the level of competition was good for sure and high, but it was also great fun. So there was 8 teams in total, split into 2 groups, and the top 2, I think, from each group went through into like a semi-finals and then a final. And I was sponsoring a team, as I mentioned, and our team won, and Rhodri was in there. So now I've set the scene, Rhodri, it'd be great to hear your experience of that day and the roller coaster of emotions you went through.
It was only up, that roller coaster, really, because we did win every match, so we were pleased with that. Big help having Thadia, the UK #1 lady, playing on our side. That was certainly an asset for the team. And then we had Mark and Elaine as well. And I mean, actually, I didn't play with Elaine because of the way the format works, but I mean, it was really, really good fun, and I thought, all 4 of us got on really well from the start, and played really well together, actually. So, it was great. Really, really enjoyed myself, and obviously it was only thanks to our manager that we were able to perform as well as we did. The cohesion that Mr. Mars brought to the team from the outset was extraordinary. The tactics he was giving us, the pre-match speeches, and giving a few tips. I saw him, change Thadia's backhand, tell her how to hit her forehand a bit better, and I think she took that on board, and it just blew the opposition away as a result. So all credit to the team manager.
Yeah, I mean, it was more luck than judgment, but the chemistry for the team was really good. And when I was talking to Thadia about it when I interviewed her on the podcast a few weeks ago, the team, you did all just seem to gel pretty well together, even on the court as well. And again, lucky, but it did seem that it all came together pretty well. Very good as a team.
Yeah, well, I'd met Mark and Elaine, but Elaine plays down at New Malden, so I'd met her quite a few times, so we already knew each other. And I'd played Mark in a really fun match up in Cambridge a few months earlier as well. So we sort of knew each other a bit as well. And he did deploy his legendary slice backhand, which I think the commentary described as the best slice backhand in the country.
Yeah.
So that was we had the foundations of a good chemistry, and it certainly carried through.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't have to face that slice, of course, but I thought the good thing about Mark, he's just a consistency machine, isn't he? He
was like a wall. He's playing a wall.
Yeah, it's great. Well, as well, Thadia said about your good self on that day, that you're a great player and you just need to believe in yourself a bit more. So I think that's true from what I saw on the day. You were very judgmental of yourself, but you played brilliantly. And what's your response to Thadia on that?
Well, I'm very grateful for her comments. Would be my response. But I know what happened on that court. I know what I had to guard. I know what Thadia had to do, and I played my small part in our great.
You're doing it again. You're doing it again.
But no, it was really good fun playing with Thadia. I really enjoyed it. And as I was saying earlier about playing the support role, it's not a lesser role. It's just as important. You just have a different job to do, and actually I really enjoyed playing that role with Thadia because it was really good. You don't have to worry when it goes over the other side. It's going to come back, usually with some venom applied by Thadia, whoever the oppo are. And no, it was really good fun, and I did enjoy it. And I do like the rally scoring format. Not as much as I like the traditional format, but it's got a certain charm in terms of not being able to give away any 3 points. And I thought, as a team, we were good at not giving away 3 points, which could make the difference sometimes, because quite a few of the matches were very close. So
yeah, for sure. Well, if you had a trademark shot, if we're talking about Mark's slice, then yours was the drive down the line. I think about the times I saw you deploy that through the different matches and still get it past everybody, and even actually at the high level players when you're on the championship court, you got it past Freddie a few times. Of course, like it doesn't always work, right? And when it doesn't work, it's not great. But you did it enough, and definitely had people thinking about having to cover the line, against you in that. So, that would be your trademark shot, I think.
Yeah, I'm on that spectrum. It's over here in the banger part of the spectrum. I do like to go for a hard one if I can. So.
Well, and MVP as well, of course, of the competition, which I already mentioned earlier. So you still can't be too harsh on yourself. Okay, so in terms of future plans for the club, have you got anything that you're planning on changing up and in terms of the club?
Well, so we have just got a bit more court time, as I mentioned. Got a couple more courts on a Friday, and then we've started the Monday thing about a month ago now. So that's been like the next step up, and that's, I think, already broadly been filled by the players we've got. So I will be on the lookout for another day in the week when we could run an evening session, but at the moment there's nowhere around me that has a sort of free chunk of time. So yes, I'm keeping my eyes peeled, but at the moment I think we're in a steady state position. Obviously training hard, ready for the friendlies, and hoping to enter a second team into the Southeast Pickleball League next year.
Okay.
So that would be good. So just keep training away until we can get some more court space. Great.
So, do you have a favourite memory since you first got involved in pickleball?
In short, no. I have lots and lots of great memories. I don't have a particular favourite memory. I find pickleball to be good fun pretty much all the time. There aren't many things that put a smile on my face as rapidly as a bit of pickleball. So, I do enjoy my pickleball.
Okay, so do you have any other plans in terms of working within pickleball, or is running the club enough?
At the moment, running the club is great, and obviously I've got my actual job as well to do. So I've got a nice mix in my life at the moment. I mean, it'd be nice if one day I could retire and just spend my whole time playing pickleball, but at the moment we're not there yet.
No, that would be nice.
But that would be lovely. I'd like to go to the States and spend 6 months going around different pickleball clubs just playing pickleball. But that's a distant dream until I can save up a substantial sum of money to fund that particular venture.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say you're going to start playing some of the tour matches. Enjoy starting playing some of the tour matches, but going round to all of the clubs, that'd be quite fun actually.
Yeah, no, that'd be great fun. No, I think the tour matches might be a bit bruising at this stage, but
yeah. Okay. I think we kind of look to wrap it up then there. But I guess the question for you is is there anything that I should have asked you about that I didn't?
No, I don't think so. No.
Okay. Well, in that case, if people want to learn more about the club or more about yourself, where's the best place to follow what you're doing?
So they can find us on the Pickleball England website if they want to write or call me. And we do have a Slightly in Abeyance Facebook page, which you could also visit. But if you want to come along and play, then just send me a WhatsApp or give me a call or send me an email, and look forward to seeing you on the court.
Yeah, no, that's great. I guess the great thing about the way that you do it is that people can just drop in if they happen to be in the area and play instead of signing up.
No, we've had a lot of people on holiday come and play with us, and had a few Americans come and visit. So yeah,
nice. Okay, well, I'll put a link to the Facebook page into the description for the video or the podcast. But otherwise, thanks very much for coming on, Rhodri.
Thank you, Mark.